What's going on, everyone? Is the Derf, and in today's video I am wrapping up the final light element in the Solipsism build centered around Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of Harmony. This one arguably favors the role that I am featuring with Solipsism more so because of all the ionic traces you're going to be generating. Spirit of Inmost Light is going to allow us to spam our abilities and also have them empowered. And on top of that, because we have a roaming super, we'll be able to generate our super even quicker. So if you've been looking for an easy mode way to generate your super as fast as you can generate Stormtrance and also pair one of the best roles that you can get in Solipsism with some of your favorite weapons featuring Praxic Blade and virtually any of the arc weapons that are popular now, this is the build for you. This one is very useful in a variety of content. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comments. Here we go. To get us started on our final light element for our Solipsism build surrounding Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of Harmony, our super of choice is going to be Stormtrance. Chain arc lightning from your hands to electrify targets with devastating streams of arc light that intensify over time. Casting Stormtrance creates a jolting shockwave underneath you. Remember, jolt damage causes overload champs to be stunned. Now, before anyone gets in the comments and says, hey Derf, this is a waste of a super because you don't have anything enhancing it. It's one of the weaker supers in the game. It's one of the weaker supers for Prismatic Warlock. I get all that. But one of the reasons that this plays into Inmost Light and Harmony perfectly is because it's a roaming super, which means you can generate it faster than even your other light supers such as Song of Flame and with Nova Bomb. For abilities, we're going to go with Phoenix Dive. I prefer the Burst Glide. Arcane Needle for the triple stack charges. And then I really like the Storm Grenade. It is the highest damage output of any grenade, but you can put on whatever you want. For aspects, we're going to go with Lightning Surge. While sliding, activate your charge melee ability to blink forward, calling down lightning strikes that jolt targets as you rematerialize. This ability also makes you amplified and grants Bolt Charge. Remember, anytime you activate Lightning Surge, you can jolt targets, which means you can stun overload champs. We're going to be spamming this intermittently between using our other abilities. And with this being a arc-centered build on our Prismatic Warlock, we're going to be getting ionic traces like crazy, which means we're going to get our abilities back very quickly. Next up is Feed the Void. Defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. Final blows restore health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. So this will feed into the grenade aspect and health aspect of our build. And when you're running anything with arc, you need as much health as possible because there isn't technically a way to generate health with an arc style build. For Fragments, first up is Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power is going to grant us a stack of Bolt Charge. We'll be able to discharge Bolt Charge regularly with max stacks thanks to our Lightning Surge, the fact we're going to be using arc weapons, the fact that we're going to be using a couple of other weapons that will play into that, and the mere fact that we're going to be able to spam our abilities even when we are transcendent. Next up is Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. Because we're going to be generating tons of ionic traces, we're going to have all of our abilities pretty much ready to go at a moment's notice. But with this build, we may also occasionally see a Void Breach, a Stasis Shard, and if for some reason you mistime your Lightning Surge, you might even see a Tangle. Next up is Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While transcendent, the effect is increased. This is going to be imperative since we're going to be regularly throwing ourselves into groups of enemies anywhere in the solar system. Next up is Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy. Now, because we have Devour, we don't have to worry as much about the grenade energy coming back to us. We're going to get it regardless. But when you get kills with your Lightning Surge, yes, that does refund melee energy. Last but not least, Facet of Sacrifice. While you have an Arc, Solar, or Void buff, your ability Final Blows grant Darkness, Transcendence energy. This one you could swap out with virtually anything that you want. One of the ones that I like to swap this out with is Facet of Courage. Your Arc Solar and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets affected with darkness debuffs. So if you're running like a darkness weapon, for example, like Submersion, which I do have in this build, if you activate Chill Clip, that's a darkness debuff. Then you can throw on your Lightning Surge right on top of it. Either way you go, you can put a bunch of things in here. You can generate Facet of Justice. You get explosions for ability Foul Blows while Transcendent. You can put on Facet of Armor. You can put on Facet of Dawn. I mean, you can really put on anything that you want. Heck, you can even put on Facet of Dominance if you want. Either way, I don't think you can go wrong. You could also put on Facet of Hope. For stat distribution, I recommend speccing into melee, super, and weapons in that order, and dump the rest into your grenade and or health. The reason that you want your melee so high is so that you can get bonus damage. The grenade, you could run this at a 70 and be just fine. The super, theoretically, you could run this at a 70 and be just fine. And the weapons, you want it to be at least at a 100. Slightly over is always nice. You get a little bit of extra tick to your damage for your weapons, but it's not necessary to boost your weapons that high. Keep in mind, if you have your weapon stat at, like, let's just say 120, the difference between 120 and let's just say 100 is so negligible you'll never even notice the difference. Now, if you get up to 160, 170, 180, yeah, we can talk about it. Even 150, 140, there's definitely a noticeable difference. So if you don't have the weapons at 120 where you can put mods on to get up to 140 or 50, it's not even worth going past the 100. Get your 15% damage bonus and just move on. Dump it into your abilities. Because again, the key here is ability spam. Can't do that if your abilities aren't at or near 100. But again, the grenade one, you can, dump into 70, and then you can pretty much just let it go from there. For weapons, first up, we're going to talk about our main add clear weapon. Our main add clear weapon, I found that works the best here is Horror's Least. You can also put on King Orfeo. You can also put on Psi Eterna if you're running double special, for example. Any of these will work just fine. Also, you can put on the sidearm here, Fimbulwinter's Stitch. Yes, that is how you pronounce it. Fimbulwinter. Try saying that 3 times fast. In any event, if you get the rolls that have jolting feedback on them, then it doesn't matter what you've got weapon-wise. You can stun overload champs with them all the same, thereby basically making your energy weapon a stunning overload champ weapon, regardless of what it is, as long as you have that jolting feedback. For the main damage weapon, of course, you want to roll with Praxic Blade. When you're dealing with bosses, champs, things like that, if you're able to stun them or even barriers, Praxic Blade, and I recommend putting on Impact Core so that you get bolt charge with each melee hit. The heavy weapon is completely up to you. I run Submersion with Chill Clip, but you can put on whatever you want. You can run another arc weapon here if you want. You can run the kinetic damage sniper rifle if you want. It's really up to you. You can run a fusion rifle. There's not really like a wrong way to run this heavy. The reason we've got the crossbow in the first place is because of being able to stun unstoppable champions. You don't really have that with these other 2 weapon options. So just run whatever you want in the power weapon slot. It really doesn't matter because that you're only going to pretty much bust that out when you're going up against bosses anyways. So Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of Harmony, a Solipsism role that everybody loves. You can build so many different things with this build. Of course, I've covered all of the light elements, Arc being the final one here. But it doesn't matter. Whatever you're running, if you're running Spirit of Harmony and Spirit of Inmost Light, you're going to have constant ability uptime, and you're also going to be able to get bonus super back with weapon kills. Now, some of this might be kind of redundant, and some of you might be in the comments thinking about writing a comment saying, well, Durf, it's a roaming super. Why would I want Spirit of Harmony? I get it. But the idea behind here is to spam the super as much as possible. So if you can stack this with just regular weapon kills and just dealing damage and getting kills however you get them, on top of it, then doesn't that kind of feed the whole idea of this build in the first place, which is super and ability spams? I think it does. But some might find it redundant, and I get that. But understand the purpose of showcasing Solipsism is that there's so many builds out there right now centered around grenades, turrets, things like that, that people kind of forget that the original spam for Warlock and heck, even Titan was melees. And Inmost Light helped us do that. Spirit of Harmony helped us get our supers back even faster. And there were some crazy combinations with different artifacts back when that was kind of a thing, before they changed how many fragments each aspect gave you and all those things. People were spamming melees to get their supers back, whereas now people are kind of spamming grenades, but that doesn't take away from the melee spam that is. We saw it with Void. We saw it with Song of Flame in my past 2 videos, and now we're going to do it here with Stormtrance, but obviously it's going to be modded a little bit different in the armor, and let me explain. For the armor, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod that you need. For the helmet, make sure you put on a special ammo finder mod, especially if you are running double special. You can also put on a harmonic siphon, and you can put on the dual siphon right here. In case you're wondering, I've got the kinetic charge siphon and I've got the harmonic siphon right here. The reason I don't have a hands-on mod is because, again, we are running with a roaming super, so it's totally unnecessary, and you don't get any bonus super back anyways, at least unless my testing was just way off base. It wasn't enough to really even notice it. Not like Song of Flame, and definitely not like Nova Bomb. For the gauntlets, make sure you put on triple heavy-handed. For the chest armor, make sure you put on 3 elemental resistance mods. For the legs, go ahead and put on double absolution, because that's really all you need since you're generating ionic traces like crazy. And make sure you put on better already. Don't let anybody tell you that recuperation is better than better already. Better already is the answer for the leg armor. For the class item, make sure you put on Outreach, because again, we're spamming our melee ability as often as possible. And we are also going with Reaper, because we're going to be cycling through our abilities. So this is a free orb of power, literally with a weapon kill after using your Phoenix Dive. And always put on your class font, because class font with 1 orb pickup, you get a plus 20. And if you're at a dismal 14, like what I am in this build, it'll bump me automatically to a 34. And the cooldown for Phoenix Dive ordinarily is like 1 minute anyways. I think at a 14, it's like 1 minute and 9 seconds or 1 minute and 4 seconds or something like that. Someone can do the math on that if they really, really want to. But getting it at above a 30 is really all you need. It doesn't need to be at a 100 for this build to work at all. For the artifact, make sure you spec into the general armor or the general weapon mod that you need depending on your champ needs and the activities you're running. In the second column, make sure you put on impact, shock, and gravity. You can pair your kinetic and arc siphon together. Also, make sure you put on elemental siphon, rapid final blows with kinetic weapon, or weapons matching your equipped super. Create elemental pickups that match your equipped super. So whether you're getting kills with the Praxic Blade or the sniper rifle, or you're getting kills with your main add clear weapon, doesn't really matter. You're going to get the elemental pickups back to you, which means, and that's what makes Arc really good, is because any elemental pickup you get, you know is going to be Ionic Trace, which means you're going to equally get ability energy back to all of your abilities. So it thereby keeps feeding the cycle of Inmost Light over and over and over again. In the third column, make sure you put on Power from Pain, because we are going to be rocking with Devour often, and we're going to be weakening targets because of Singularity Blade. When you have a Void Elemental buff, melee and sword hits weaken targets, while melee and sword final blows create a weakening burst. So these two will play off of each other. Also put on Kinetic Synthesis, sustain kinetic weapon damage, and rapid final blows have a chance to generate a unique ammo brick. Collecting this brick will grant ammo to equip kinetic damage weapons and grant special and heavy ammo progress. In the fourth column, make sure you put on Dielectric, because obviously we're going to be debuffing targets regularly and we want more bolt charge. Make sure you put on Combination Argent Blade so that you get additional sword damage when you need it. And Sword Storm combo and Void Infestation are pretty much on everyone's build who's running a Praxic Blade build, even though this isn't really centered around that. The Praxic Blade, we're pretty much only pulling that out when we're going up against champs and bosses. So if you're one of those people that runs only the hardest of the hard, you know, you're probably going to have it set up like this. If you're just running general content, you know, you can switch this up however you want, because it's not really going to matter. The build is powerful enough to kind of stand on its own, even if you didn't have all of these sword perks to go with it. So that is the final light element centered build with Solipsism, Spirit of Inmost Light, and Spirit of Harmony. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought was the best, what you guys think is the best light element to run with this role. Solipsism, of course, is still very much viable. They haven't nerfed it into the ground. I mean, they've nerfed it a little bit, but nothing like what some of these other superpowers have gone through, you know, whether you're a hunter, titan, or warlock main. We've seen our fair share of nerfs, but Solipsism, tons of great roles you can pair together for them. I've got, I don't know, maybe 20 of them in my vault. That's not even a joke. I think that's pretty darn accurate. I think it's about 20, maybe a little bit less. But Inmost Light Harmony is an easy mode role to put on anytime that you're just looking for a quick build that you know will keep up with your buddies, or if you're just running things. One of the other good things about running Arc is that you're going to be constantly amplified. Of course, that will always happen when you're running with Lightning Surge in general, but you get what I mean. Being amplified certainly makes the day go by faster when you're farming stuff. And again, Spirit of Inmost Light gives you additional power and regeneration for each ability. So you hit your Phoenix Dive or you chuck your grenade, then you go into your Lightning Surge. It's already empowered. So you can do that over and over and over again. Same thing while you're Transcendence. Run your Transcendent, chuck your grenade, do your Phoenix Dive or whatever, and then go right into your Lightning Surge. And because you're Transcendent, you can spam it even faster because Transcendence refunds energy. So it's basically an endless cycle. And with Arc, you have the added bonus of just having a roaming super, which means you're going to generate it faster just based on the sheer amount of quickness you're going to have giving out damage. And that's why, even though it's not the most high damage super in the game, I get that, you will be able to proc it, I will say probably 1.5 times more often than any of the other supers when you're running a build like this. And I think that's it. I'm not going to say it's a meta build because I think that's not true. This is not a meta build, but it's very, very good. And even with Stormtrance, the fact you can proc it more frequently because it's based on damage, not getting bonus super energy back by doing all your abilities, you know, with your hands-on mod and whatever, or the ashes to assets and all those things, I think makes this build still stand on kind of on its own. And fans of Arc are going to understand why this build works so well. I mean, it's Arc, baby. I mean, you run faster, you jump higher, the whole, you know, all those things. And because you're getting ionic traces, you can keep doing those things more frequently. You can't do that when you're running Song of Flame. You can't do that when you're running Nova Bomb. The Arc trace or the ionic traces just make this build flow even faster if you think about it in those terms. So anyways, if you guys did find anything helpful in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you know a guy out there who is looking for that final light element to pair with their Solipsism build, shout out to the person who asked me to do the Arc and the other person who asked me to do all of the light elements with the Solipsism build. You two are the reasons why I kept these two going. I had some other builds I wanted to get to, but it don't matter. This build is still plenty fun. So shout out to you guys. But anyways, if you guys, you know anyone that's looking for a build like this, that can center around Stormtrance and of course use some new Arc weapons in the game, make sure you share this video with them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the video description. And if by chance you guys are looking for that non-toxic gaming community, make sure you hop into my Discord. It is booming. People are very active. They're, everyone's running the Equilibrium dungeon. People are farming, to get their god rolls of some of the newer weapons that have dropped. I see a lot of people running Pinnacle Ops or asking, to run Pinnacle Ops. I also see people in the Discord now trying to do some title chasing, which I myself don't do a lot of, just because I'm kind of more of the build guy, in my circle for obvious reasons. But there's a lot of that going on, and I see, every day I'm seeing new people engage on the Discord that I haven't seen talk before, and that's what it's all about. Guardians helping Guardians, pairing up, getting things done. That's what makes a great community. So shout out to my Discord. You guys are the reason I get to offer it in every single video. So I'm going to switch over to some more gameplay, and we are going to wrap it up, everyone. So like I said before, I think this pairing of the Arc Super with this role of Solipsism is probably the fastest flowing, not just because you're amplified all the time, because you get amplified with any of the elements as long as you have Lightning Surge on, but because you are able to generate ionic traces. And I think if for no other reason than finding a reason why this is as viable as the other ways we've built this so far in this little series, then the Ionic Traces has to be the reason. And obviously, when you can get your abilities back equally by generating Ionic Traces, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to spam them more often. Keep in mind, that's not even counting when you're Transcendent, which of course you take advantage of with the other elements when you do hit Transcendence, but it's added to this simply because the Ionic Traces do distribute your energy ability, or your ability energy regeneration, evenly between your other 3 abilities. So it balances out between not having the highest damage super out of all the options and being able to spam it just a bit more frequently, because of course it is a roaming super, unlike Song of Flame, which I never really understood that, because you can't use your weapons with this super either, but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is, and as you see on the screen here, I've also switched up and I'm using Horror's Lease. So really any of the featured arc weapons that you like really pair well with this build, and if you got the jolting feedback on your weapons, whichever weapon you use, you can use that in place of the pulse rifle you would ordinarily use to stun overloads, even though of course Lightning Surge will take care of that for you. So hopefully you guys like the video. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you are a returning viewer but you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really means a lot for all of your support, and I want to keep being able to bring you guys content. And if you have any suggestions, of course, get at me in the comments, but I will see you guys next time. Thanks as always. Take care.